you will tweet your response to hashtag SCG Premium with the correct answer, and one lucky participant will come away with 3 free months of Star City Games Premium.
That is correct. So hopefully you guys have been paying attention for most of the day. We promise we won't make the question too hard for you, but you're going to have to earn it. So be ready after we get through game 1 here. We'll have the question ready for you guys, and you'll have the opportunity to win 3 months of free of premium on SCG.
So we had Phillip Drennon in the feature match area earlier today, where we got to watch him Blood Artist killing wave Mondo combo his opponent out. Looks like Charlie's on the play here. No play on turn 1.
And as you'll see, Charlie is playing red-black zombies versus Phillip's playing blue-black zombie pod. You know, there are some pretty heavy differences between the 2 decks as these guys kind of get things underway. Charlie's deck is going to have access to 2 Fume Spitters, 3 Blood Artists, a couple of Highborn Ghouls, which are not going to be very good in this matchup, 2 Porcelain Legionnaires, which are actually going to be relatively good, but you're also going to find 2 Falcon Wrath Aristocrats. The red splash is going to be for the Aristocrat, as I mentioned, and also 4 Brimstone Volleys and 2 Arc Trails.
And Charlie Chun actually has the most important card that he can draw, which is Blackcleave Cliffs, because it is really hard to cast your red spells, as I have found. And he has his hand is insane. He has another Messenger and a Brimstone Volley and a Guess Verdict in his hand. So,
okay, so that's a pretty darn good hand.
Yeah. As loaded as you can really ask for here, especially with Drennon missing plays on the first 2 turns.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see what Phillip kept, because with how many 1-drops and 2-drops are available to zombies, and it's part of the appeal of playing the deck is that it's so aggressive, to not have a play and to have your first play believe Phantasmal Image, which is going to come into play tapped. I mean, it's sketchy keep, it feels like to me.
But probably, I would imagine he's going to hit for 5 and add another Messenger to his board. So between the 2 Messengers that he's going to have and the Brimstone Volley, it's kind of hard to imagine the game getting away from him.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a very good way to gain life in the mirror outside of Blood Artist activations. And with Phillip's deck containing Birthing Pod as well, you know, his life total is going to get so low that activating that card isn't even like a realistic option.
Yeah.
So we see the second Messenger come down, draining Phillip for 2 more life. And his hand, as Patrick said, is stacked. He has Guess Verdict and he has Brimstone Volley. He also has
combo.
Yes, they work very well together. And he also has the 5th Lance so that he can cast both in the same turn next turn. And I mean, something even crazier that he could do, assuming that I've got my card right, is Guess Verdict can target himself.
Yeah.
So that he can sack the Messenger to get 2 that way, and then deal 5 with the volley if he needs to do that.
Phyrexian Obliterator.
Don't Brimstone Volley that.
So he's just, I suppose he's just dead?
Bashes with all 3 of his guys. He's going to let Diagraph cool through. Or maybe he doesn't do that.
No, I actually don't know. It's not sure he has.
2, 3. I mean, I would think that he's dead, right?
No, because... Oh, no, he has to block the Messengers. Yeah, this is lethal.
He sacks that. That comes back as an Obliterator.
One would assume.
Okay.
So that should drop him to 8, and then this shoots him to 3, and then there's just no way for him to block.
Yeah. Yep. Battle, battle, battle. He's going to go down to 1 and then 2 Messenger activations, or at least 1 Messenger activation will finish him off.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Like a fast and furious game 1.
Now, I know that you said that you're just a bigger fan of red-black zombies over blue-black.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the blue cards.
Okay.
It's basically my problem with the deck. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Phantasmal Image in the deck.
Okay.
Because you're not copying your own guys until turn 4 anyway.
Okay.
At that point, you could just be playing Metamorphs.
Sure.
And I'm also just not a huge fan of the 3-drop Lord.
Diagraph Captain.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I just don't think he's really that impressive. Like, you're already so clogged at 3, and if you wanted to have another bot, like, you can just play Cemetery Reaper if you're in the market for a Crusade.
Okay.
That doesn't tax your mana.
Sure.
And I think the red spells, particularly Brimstone Volley, play so well with the rest of the zombie package that I think I'd rather be there than playing with the blue cards.
Sure, and that makes sense to me. So we're going to go to our question. Make sure that you guys are paying attention because 3 months of Star City Games Premium are on the line, and I will give Patrick Sullivan the honor.
So we just mentioned we just had the rundown of the top 8. We mentioned that there were, broadly speaking, 2 different archetypes where there are 3 copies in the top 8. Name either one of the archetypes.
Sure.
Either one's fine. And tweet that at hashtag SCG Premium, and one lucky winner will come away with free 3 months of Star City Games Premium.
So make sure that you do send that over to hashtag SCG Premium. One of the 2 archetypes that has 3 copies of it in the top 8, and 3 months SCG Premium. So hopefully you guys are paying attention. It's not too difficult of a question, we'd like to believe.
Yeah.
But it is
we could have
late at
asked for
night.
both, but we're only asking for one.
Pat's a softie. I wanted both. I'm cutthroat. I want to make you guys earn it, but he's old and soft, so it's fine.
Like I said, it was like last night at dinner or whatever, where we had horrible service and I still tipped reasonably well. It's just like, I'm just not here to. Just growing soft, man.
Yeah, Pat's
just
soft.
don't have it in me.
He
Just don't have it in me to grind on people
It was
anymore.
like the worst service I've ever had. He tipped reasonably well. I tipped $1. I mean, you can judge me if you want to, but it was that bad.
It was definitely $1 worth of service.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't.
That's true.
I don't judge.
For the record, I'm in the service industry, and I went to school for hospitality management for 5 years. So I respect every single person in the service industry. It was that bad.
So looking at the sideboard here, Phillip was more of a the deck with he has obviously Birthing Pod and Mortapod as well. Much more of a control deck. He's definitely the grindier of the 2 decks here. He has access to, let's see here. He has another Blood Artist, which seems pretty awesome. He has access to 2 more copies of Phyrexian Obliterator, which I also like in the matchup. If you're going to have him, besides red-green, this is one of the better matchups for him.
Okay.
He has 2 copies of Fume Spitter, which I do not particularly like in the mirror, although it's possible you just want more answers to Blood Artist.
Okay.
And that is, Vile Rebirth, Killing Wave, another Skin Render if he wants it, another Dismember, but I don't think you want Dismember here against Chun's more aggressive build.
Well, I mean, it's possible that he does want Dismember against Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. That's a possibility, in my opinion.
I would rather just bring in Fume Spitters and have, Mortapod try to handle it with those kind of ways. I think, I mean, Dismember's fine. I guess he's got 2 Aristocrats.
He has 2 Aristocrats. I think Dismember would be better if he had Obliterators.
Yeah.
But looking at Charlie's sideboard, there are no Obliterators in his sideboard. The cards that are relevant here, you're going to find a Vampire Nighthawk. Only a singular copy, but that's a rather good card in this type of match. Blocks the 1-drops extremely well, and lifelink is also important in an aggressive matchup where there isn't a lot of life gain. And an additional Tragic Slip to go with the 2 in his main deck. 2 Duress, which I don't find to be great in this matchup, along with 2 Distress. Arc Trail, have you ever liked that?
I played it at the when I played Red Black Zombies at the Invitational in Baltimore. I played 4 copies of Arc Trail.
Okay.
It was, I believe, in retrospect, I should have been playing Incinerate in that slot.
Okay.
I had a couple moments of it being awesome, but overall, I think I would have been better served with it being Incinerate.
Okay. And then if the game gets a little bit longer, he can play Zealous Conscripts to try to trump Phyrexian Obliterator. He also has 2 Mark of Mutinies and 2 Nihil Spellbombs, but I don't think those are going to find much use either.
Yeah.
So the decks aren't going to change a ton moving forward. It's really just a battle of aggression. I think that if it's going to be a battle of aggression, that favors Charlie because he has more reach with his volleys and his arc trails.
So in the 4-5 matchup, Alex Etzel and his Delver deck is up a game on Zach's Niapod brew.
And as these 2 players do shuffle up, I mean, do you feel like this matchup is more about who's on the play and who can just get things out of the gate as fast as possible?
Not really. I mean, that definitely matters to an extent, but both of these cards have a bunch of super impactful cards and then a lot of garbage.
Okay.
So you can win on the draw by just drawing more meaningful stuff.
Okay. And I think I would assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that Messenger is probably the most important card.
Yeah,
in the mirror.
by far.
Sure.
By far. So each player with a 1-drop to start the game. No play for Drennon on the second turn while Chun adds a Blood Artist.
It'll be interesting to see exactly how powerful Blood Artist can be in the mirror. I think that if against any deck, and I find it to be really good against the green decks. I think that this is
his own Blood Artist.
This is one of the matchups where it's insanely good.
I think that Charlie has an Arc Trail in his hand, which is just, this is
We call that the Stew's News.
the bee's knees.
Yeah, it's late, but I call it the Stew's News.
I think he's debating between Messenger or Arc Trail here.
I'll just get him dead.
Ugh.
And then the artists are just going to stop each other from
Right.
doing anything. And then Sir Spitz. Okay, another diagraph. Cool.
I actually think that I like running out the Messenger more there to start with. Because, like, what is that, you know, what do those guys represent that turn, the following turn? Like, what does that enable him to do? Just keeping those guys in play? I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the splash value, if you will, of killing his 2 guys like that is hard to turn down. But I actually think he's better served casting his Messenger and then making that play the next turn.
Okay. So we have a Mortar Pot coming into play. The Germ Token is here. It's kind of deciding what he's going to want to kill with that. My assumption is that's going to go towards Blood Artist, because you don't want that card to be on the board.
Yeah.
Also, he's going to be able to, if he has a Tragic Slip in his hand, enable Morbid.
Vampire
Nighthawk is the card drawn for Charlie. And I know that you were a fan of Messenger last turn. I think, even though he did draw Nighthawk, you're probably still a fan of Messenger this turn.
Yes.
Shoot there.
Yeah.
So I think this is the one-turn window where he has Tragic Slip available. And if you do play Messenger this turn, you know, it comes into play tapped anyway, so you'd rather have it this turn instead of Nighthawk.
For sure.
And there it is.
I mean, the only argument that I really see for casting Nighthawk is if you want to hedge against Obliterator, but between Fume Spitter or Tragic Slip in his hand, he can actually handle an Obliterator as well.
Sure.
So.
And just watching these games play out for Charlie, you can kind of see why this deck is in the top 8.
Oh yeah. No, this is what's the most awesome thing about his draws, in my opinion, have been the fact that he's had a red-black dual land. Once you have that, everything's super easy.
Okay, your deck is just turned on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's, you know, the mana is not awesome. I mean, his mana base is 14/4/4. The mana base for the deck that I play is 14/4/4 plus 1 mountain. I mean, it's not good. It's not good mana.
Sure. And so, as you said, this is the Obliterator that you were talking about that may be coming. Fume Spitter is
This is okay. You can Fume Spitter, or Tragic Slip it.
Take care of it and get in for 7. It's going to put him down to
3.
And you know, the thing about the zombie matchup versus other other aggressive matchups like Green Mirrors is there isn't really a way to gain life.
No, there's Blood Artist basically. That's about it.
I mean, if he wanted to take the Vampire Nighthawk strategy like Charlie has, I could see that as being reasonable, but it's difficult to gain life. Copy that.
I'm not sure exactly where that gets him. I mean, it's some chump blocking, I guess. There's an Aristocrat.
And that's going to take care of this game. All he needs to do is stack for 4. No sacrifices necessary. And just that quickly.
And Charlie Chun on to the semifinals. And actually, I was just talking about Arc Trail versus Incinerate in the deck. And actually where I'm at now is I actually like Pillar of Flame most of all.
Okay.
A, because you have a lot of stuff to do on turn 2. So it's nice to be able to go turn 3, Guy plus Pillar. Like that makes your mana base a lot smoother. And there's just so much. I mean, having Pillar and the Zombie Mirror is insane.